A bill to reduce borrowing costs for millions of students is headed to the White House for President Barack Obama's signature. U.S. lawmakers have already approved the measure which links interest rates to student loans to government bonds. This would mean lower rates in the future. Student loan rates have doubled 6.8% in July after Congress failed to keep them at the 3.4%, although some of the earlier folks who took out the loans will still get the low rates. The passage of the legislation comes 2 days before Congress breaks for their annual August holiday, and there are many unresolved budget issues still on the table. The first is the debt ceiling, which limits how much the government can borrow. It currently stands at $16.7 trillion. The Treasury says it has enough money until September 5th. The problem, though, Congress doesn't come back to work until September 9th. The other issue is funding the government. The deadline there is October 1st. But Congress only has 21 days to fix it when they come back from their holiday. Now, joining us to talk about what Congress should do or needs to do, and they haven't done yet this year, is Jack Burkman, Republican strategist and founder of Burkman Associates. Welcome back. Dave Mercer, Democratic strategist and founder of Mercer Advisors. Gentlemen, good to see both of you here.
Good to be here.
So, I don't want to joke about this too much, but a lot of people are making fun of this Congress, saying that they haven't done anything, and here they are, we're at the end of the year, and they're trying to do stuff, and they're trying to get stuff done. We've got the loan agreement done, but we've got this debt ceiling done. Let me ask each of you, what has been the major thing that Congress has accomplished this year? Jack?
Well, keep in mind, we don't want to do something just to do it. What we want is good policy. So when John Sununu said 20 years ago, I'm happy with Congress doing nothing, for Republicans, blocking things is in many ways what it's all about. We don't want any more
bogus. But you're agreeing that we haven't done enough.
Well, we don't want any more bogus federal spending. Obama has spent almost $5 trillion allegedly to create jobs. We've lost $5 trillion. The unemployment rate is still 7.5%. If anything, it's made the economy worse. So when you talk about, quote unquote, doing things, the last thing we want is for this president to do anything else. It's been a disaster.
If I could just comment on what Jack said. For the last 30-some-odd months, we've been adding jobs every month, and we're now into millions of jobs that have been created in the last 30-some-odd months. So it has been working, and the economy is picking up, and we have to continue to get some policies out of Congress. You know, Jack or maybe Boehner want to measure by what you block in Congress. And if you, in answer to your question, Phil, with regard to what have they accomplished, they have had 40 votes on repeal of Obamacare, which even as it may pass the House, is never going to get to the Senate and is never going to get a signature from the president. And they need to focus, as I think you are hinting at, they need to focus on getting a budget. There's a budget out of the Senate. There's a budget in the House.
That gets to the
we need to get down to business.
The debt debate is coming. When they come back from vacation on September 5th or 4th, whatever the day might be, the government runs out, the credit card runs out for the government.
You see the problem here. Every year, last year, Obama said, I said last year during the debt ceiling, they said, well, we got to raise it. We're going to lose the credit rating. I say, well, are we going to be here next year, say you have to raise it, the year after have to raise it, 10 years from now have to raise it, 100 years, 100 years have to raise it. We're going to become like Italy.
Well, will there be a deal, though, between the Democrats and Republicans come September 6th? That's the big question.
Probably, but it's sad because Boehner will probably say, well, we have other things to focus on. We'll focus on the IRS scandal. We have a lot of ways to hit Obama. I will take Obama with their olive branch. We'll cut corporate taxes, get what we can, and then we'll raise the debt ceiling. I almost would like to see the government shut down. I don't want to see us do this.
Hold that thought.
If I could say, on the debt ceiling, in raising the debt ceiling, to be clear for your audience, it does not raise a nickel of spending or deficit. And in fact, with regard to the deficit, in the last 2 months, we've been in a deficit surplus. So the debt ceiling debate, like it was last time, is a phony.
There's a big but. There's a big but because you're legitimating. Yes, he's correct. This is a smart guy.
I like when you guys point fingers at each other.
He's very correct. It doesn't add additional spending because it's not part of the spending process. But what it does is legitimate, condone, and make acceptable all of the spending that has gone on.
And I'll put it this way, if I might. It's saying to those that we said we would pay our bills, it's saying your bills will get paid, which is why it would affect our credit rating if we didn't pay that.
A step back, 12 months ago we were arguing whether or not we would have the sequestration, basically the automatic spending cuts that have taken place. It's done. We took the automatic spending cuts. People said the world's going to come to an end. It didn't. The economy was going to go, can't say it on air, but it didn't happen either. So here's my question. Was sequestration the best thing that happened to Congress? Jack?
Yes, because there's a yes and a but. Yes, it was. It was a good thing. We had to make cuts. We should have made deeper cuts in entitlements. We didn't. But the reason it was okay is Republicans, through clever legislative maneuvering, thank God, put money back into the Defense Department. David knows this. Slowly but surely, we added money back because of where Obama left the DOD a year ago. You couldn't even send carriers to the Gulf. He literally placed the nation in harm's way. Thank God they got the money back.
Dave, is Obama and the Democrats sort of on one hand publicly saying this was bad, but then privately saying, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't so bad?
It was bad, and from his standpoint, from the president's standpoint, and I think from a lot of our standpoints, it was bad because it was used as a trigger for Congress to do the job that it needs to do, which is to put the budget in balance, to find the spending cuts, not make it arbitrary.
That's my point exactly. They held the economy hostage because of sequestration. Fast forward on September 5th. Do we have a repeat of what happened at the end of last year?
I don't think so, because
I think you'll have. I think you're going to have a shutdown. Boehner, like I said, I think Boehner should be focused on the scandal. If I were John Boehner,
do Republicans want a shutdown?
Well, I think you only have so many chits, and I think what they should do is focus on the IRS scandal, focus on the phone records. I think that has a lot more political traction. The problem with this stuff is politically, the public's already locked onto a perception where Obama wins. I wouldn't go down that road. I think we do have a shutdown. I predict we do. It'll just be a week, and then they'll move on. All this stuff.
Dave, is a bargain possible?
I would advise all Republicans to call Newt Gingrich and say, what was it like when you had a shutdown of the government, and what did the Republicans go through when they shut down the government? And McCain, among a host of other Republican senators, is saying either it's the dumbest idea ever, or we should not have these shenanigans going on in shutting the government down, because the American people are tired of it.
We got 30 seconds. You guys can fight it out. Do the Republicans maintain the House majority in 2014? Jack?
Yes, and they take the Senate and they expand their House majority.
Dave?
I would say the margin will decrease in the House, and given their history of losing 5 Senate seats in the last 2 elections that they should have won, they're not going to get the majority in the Senate.
Just for our audience, these guys have beers after the show. They actually like each other. Jack Burkman,
very much indeed.
Dave Mercer, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to have you.